Hi guys, today we're going to be talking about Barangay Police and PNP. Now, there is a huge difference between these two, and we're going to get into this, and I'm going to explain what each is used for, kind of. Now, the Barangay Police are basically kind of village police, because we have police in the city, which would be the PNP, and then we have village police, which are kind of like to take care of like quarrels, or if there's issues going on, try to sit the people down and just try to talk it out and settle differences or whatever. It might be something as small as a dog barking or a dispute between people. Sometimes you can take it up with the barangay. Usually you would go in there with the other party and you would try to hack it out and try to settle it in there or whatever. Sometimes the barangay might kick it up a notch and call in the PNP if it's something where a law was broken and it's starting to get a little bit serious, or something shows itself during the argument that something bigger is going on. They might call in the PNP to do an investigation or whatever. But most of the time, the barangay and the barangay police is just for smaller issues. They're kind of useful for like dogs, like I said, dogs barking, noise, karaoke, things like that. You would call the barangay police or get a number. When you move into a barangay, try to get the barangay captain's phone number. Maybe try to get one of the barangay cops' phone numbers. I live right above one, so I'm lucky, and I don't have any issues as far as that goes. We have a great barangay captain here in Luciano. He's fantastic, and I've gotten to know him, pretty well since I've been here. I think we've talked to him about 3 times now. We've actually gone over there just to talk to him about some things that I wanted to help out with in the barangay, because we are trying to set up a feeding program here in March, just to try to do something in March. So we're gonna be doing that, and then I got some other things I want to do over there too. We're gonna also have scanners get involved. It's a group that I'm a member of. They're gonna be doing medical doctors services and probably some checkups and things like that, maybe for people. I'm not quite sure what they're gonna do yet, but they're gonna be offering some services to even make our feeding thing even better and bigger. And the barangay captain said he would help us. Now, the barangays are great. It's a great resource. It's a place where you can get your barangay ID, things like that. There's a lot of things that you have to get from your barangay to open up a bank account. Sometimes some banks will ask for a barangay certificate saying that you live in that barangay. So that's where the barangay comes in. PNP is more like regular police back in your home. If you're from a Western country, you guys know what I'm talking about, the United States or whatever. It's like a regular police department, and it's very useful if you're having bigger issues, if you hear gunshots out and back or whatever. And it's good to get their phone number, because some of the towns around here, they don't have like 911. As far as I know, I've never seen any 911 numbers around here. You have to call you have to call a regular police department, the PNP, call them, and they'll probably come out. Now, the Philippines is really funny as far as the PNP, because there's a lot of places out in the provinces. Well, guess what? They don't even hardly have any PNP out there. So you're dealing a lot of times with the barangay police or whatever, and they have a little bit more power out there or whatever, or they'll call in somebody from the nearest big town or whatever. If it's a small village, you're probably not going to have a PNP official there. A lot of guys forget, the further you move away from a decent-sized town, the less protection you're going to get as far as safety. And that's why, like I tell a lot of people, if you move out into these places down in Mindanao or some of these islands that are very remote and there's not much going on these islands except for a bunch of small villages, and there might be one halfway decent sized town where you can get some stuff, but you can't get a lot of stuff. Guess what? You're probably not going to get a lot of police presence there either in an emergency or something. And you want to be able to have that. Some towns do have ambulances, but there's not much in those ambulances. You're probably going to die. It's basically a death taxi. If it's something minor, probably they'll get you there and you'll be okay or whatever. But be careful. Really good. Get down to your local PNP station when you get here, and go to your barangay and check in with your barangay captain. Get to know the guy when you first get here. That's the best advice I can give you, is get to know your barangay captain. And help them out. Offer to help them. Say, hey, listen, I'd like to do like a feeding program, maybe rice or something like that. And spend like a couple $100 on rice, and maybe just drop by and give it to them and say, hey, you give that out however you want to do it. and let them do it. You know, they'll do it for you, or you can do it yourselves. If you want to get involved with that and you want to help with the feeding program, that's a great way to get to know people, you know, and, you know, buy some water or something, hand that out, well, so people can have a drink while they're there. If you're part of an organization like I am, Scanners is a great organization because they'll supply medical, they'll supply a lot of stuff, some things they can get for free. They have a lot of connections. And I'm going to try to get some of the other expats that are joining Scanners or whatever. Maybe they can make some donations of some rice or some cash or something. We can buy some water. We can buy some vitamins and prenatal vitamins, things like that for some of the women here, because a lot of these people, they can't afford it, you know, and that's a great thing. But to get back to the police, you know, get to know your local police officers too. Go into the police department, maybe bringing them some donuts or something like that, you know, and say, hey guys, I just want to bring you guys some donuts. Also, sometimes they might need something. You ask them, say, hey, listen, if you have the money and you have the wherewithal and you want to help out your local police department, say, hey, what do you guys need? You know, what would you guys like to have that I can help you with? Maybe they need something. Maybe they need their car fixed or something. Maybe they don't have money for that. Maybe they don't really need anything at all. Maybe just bringing them in some donuts or buying them pizza one day or something like that. You could do something like that. That's a great thing to get to know your police department, and make sure you get to know the police chief. You can call him up and say, you know, tell him, say, I'd like to get to know you. If I have an emergency, can I call you? Can you give me your phone number? He'll probably give it to you. And also get the station police number too. Like I said, same thing goes with your barangay. Get to know your barangay captain. Get to know the, you know, people underneath the captain. Get to know the people in that office. Get to know all those officials, because it's good to have these connections. And I'm not telling you to get involved in politics. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying get to know these people, because God forbid the day comes where you need some help or something, or you need an emergency, you have an emergency going on. These are the people you're gonna want to call. Get to know your town officials. Get to know your mayor. Get to know whoever, your vice mayor and stuff like that. Get to know these people. These are the people that make that town work, and you can get things fixed. I noticed my mayor here, she's done phenomenal work. I mean, Forest Park. I was actually talking today to the barangay official about this, about a lot of the noise down there. And I went there today to check, and there was no roosters in there anymore, and it was quiet in there. I was like, oh, I can come back now. So I'll be able to go back now and start doing some of my videos back at Forest Park now, because I guess somebody complained, or maybe she saw one of my videos or whatever in the past, because I was talking a little bit about Forest Park, and I'm hoping that I can get back in there probably maybe not tomorrow, but maybe over the weekend or whatever. I can start doing some videos down at Forest Park again. I love Forest Park. I love doing my videos down there. And when it's quieter and it's you know, more peaceful, I have my thoughts together better, and I think I do better videos down there. That's just my opinion, you know. I feel more at ease down there, because when I'm walking, I can, you know, think up new subjects or whatever, and it just helps me down there. But anyway, guys, I just want to talk about all this stuff today. I noticed I kind of rambled there a little bit, but I mean, I think you kind of got the gist of what I'm trying to talk about. Get to know your city officials. Get to know the police. Get to know the barangay police. Get to know your barangay captain. These are all important living in the police, in the Philippines here. It's very important to get to know these officials. And God forbid you get in trouble with a girl or something like that. At least you can call up the captain and say, hey, listen, I got a problem with a girl here. This is what's going on. I can use your help. What should I do? And you know what? You'll get help. And, you know, sometimes these girls are going to tell you, well, I'm related to these people. I you know, if I talk, I'm going to talk to them first. Let me tell you this. Most of these guys are grown men. And yeah, it might be a family member that's complaining about you, and she's trying to get you locked up or something like that. But if you sit down and talk with them, say, hey, listen, the guy's name's Joe or Bill or whatever, or Bob or William or Jose or whatever, say, hey, listen, Jose, this is what's going on. Or Chief, you know, give him the decency of call him Chief if he's the chief. Say, this is what's going on. This is what's going on with the girl. I'm having big problems with her. Boom, boom, boom. You know, this is what happened. I haven't done anything to her, but treat her good and treat her decent. And she's telling me she's going to lie to you to try to get me in trouble. Most of the time, they'll listen. You know, I've talked to a lot of people, and a lot of these girls, they tend to blow a lot of smoke. You know, they blow a lot of smoke to try to get you to believe that they're going to call the police. They're going to get you arrested. They're going to call BI. It's not going to happen unless they have real proof. your word against theirs is nothing. It really is. It's nothing. You're not going to jail for any of this stuff. Most people don't, unless there's a crime that you committed and she can prove it. Guess what? Nothing's going to happen. And it's pretty hard for you to go to jail here unless you committed a crime and it was seen by a lot of people, and you might go to jail for a while you sit and wait to go to court if people have seen it, or, and if it just somebody throwing out charges and stuff like that, probably not. And most people, or most expats, I should say, have enough money that they can post bail if something happens. And when you go before the court, they'll probably just throw it out or what have you. But it usually never, ever gets to that point. It never, ever gets to that point. Now, I just want to talk about that because especially that BI thing. Let me tell you something. The BI officials are aware that most of these girls are full of crap. They just want to get the guy in trouble. They know that. They started asking these girls, well, what happened? Do you have proof? Do you have any? Well, what kind of proof? You need more proof than that. You need a lot of proof. Okay? It's not going to happen. They're not going to get you blacklisted. I've stated this many, many, many times. And it's the same way with the police department. They have to have lots of evidence. There has to be lots of witnesses. And if it's family members and stuff like that, it doesn't look good in court. Trust me, it doesn't look good in court. If she drags in a whole bunch of people and you're saying, this person wasn't even there when it happened, so I don't know what she's just lying. You start, as long as you're telling the truth in court, it's not going to stand up. And these girls they like to cause a lot of problems here sometimes. And I'm not saying all girls are like that, but the girls that cause this type of problem, you got to be careful of. You got to be really, really careful. Be aware, if you think something's going to happen, be on top of it and go down and talk to the police. Go down and talk to your barangay official. Let them know what's going on. Say, hey, I think that this girl is going to try to set me up. I'm letting you know in advance. And that way these people already know in advance. So when she goes down there and starts talking a bunch of crap about you, you know what? You're already a step ahead of her. You don't have to worry because the cop or the barangay captain or the barangay police are going to tell her, look, get lost. We've already heard this story. We know you're full of crap. These guys are pretty decent guys. The majority of people here that I meet are very professional. Is there problems in some of the barangays and some of the cities around here? Yeah, there is. I mean, you're going to run into some people that aren't as good as others. But the majority of these people that I've met are very professional. And I'll say that loud and clear. I love the Philippines because I find that most people here are pretty professional. I've run into some bad ones in a couple towns over here. I had a problem with the PNP. This is going back like about 4.5 years ago. It kind of ironed itself out and it's okay. But I mean, they just weren't up to the task, and we had some issues. But I mean, most PNP officials here, most barangay officials, most politicians and everything here are pretty decent people. It's the same way back in the United States. You're going to run into a few that are good, and you're going to run into some bad ones. But the majority of them, we can't paint them all with one broad brush and say that they're all bad. I would say the majority of people here are good, decent politicians, good, decent cops, good, decent barangay officials. So, when you run into a bad one, don't smear the rest of them with that. Don't, because you're doing them an injustice, because it makes them feel like, well, no matter what I do, I'm going to get smeared as bad or whatever. Don't do that. You wouldn't do it. A lot of us, we did that back home. Don't do it over here. This is a country where you're living now. Be thankful that you got these officials helping us over here. God bless, guys. I hope you enjoyed today's show. Just treat your cops really good. Treat your barangay people good. The barangay chief, barangay police, PNP, all that. Get to know them. And you know what? I think you'll get better results when you do have a problem. God bless, guys. Take care.